Oh, so I just started it a little bit early, just to see if it's all working. So, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to wait until 5 o'clock just to get started. But if you're watching, nice to meet you. I'm Ian. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. A few things about the session. So this is session 2 for today. So my plan is, what I'm doing is I'm hoping to, well, I am actually going to do for the next, up until Christmas at least, is on Thursdays, I'm going to be live streaming on Thursdays at 11:30 for an hour, from 11:30 till 12:30. And then also from this time, 5 till 6 as well. Just so that gives me the chance to go through an entire functional skills past paper each week. So if you want to join in and comment, that would be great. The chat section is open for chat. If you're happy with the questions, then that is great. If you're unhappy with a question, just please put a note down, and if I spot it, what I'll do is I'll try to go through the question again. In this video, I'm looking at past paper 2. It's the edexcel past paper 2, and I've picked it up from the past functional skills website. It's a very useful website for finding past papers to do. Obviously, another great website is the crackmaths.co.uk website. But I guess on my website, I've mainly got things like more topic-based revision. So on the Crack Maths website, there's everything that you actually need to cover the content of the course. But I haven't got that many past papers yet because I wasn't too sure about the ins and outs of being able to put them on the site. So anyway, I will get started now. And yeah, so as I said, we're up to question 6. So if you do want to look at the first half of this paper later on, we've got section 1, which is the non-calculated section, and I've done that earlier, and it is available for you to watch since the live stream. So if that's everything, actually, I think I'll just get started on working through this. So if I look at this question here, it says, Wahab sells cars. The table shows information about the number of cars he's sold each week for the last 26 weeks. Okay, so I can look down the table. We've got the number of cars here, and we've also got frequency here. So frequency means how many times he sold between this many cars. So I can see that 2 times he sold between 1 to 5 cars, 12 times he sold between 6 to 10 cars, 9 times he sold between 11 and 15 cars, and then 3 times he sold between 16 and 20 cars. Right, so the question says, Wahab estimates he sold a mean average of 10 cars per week. Okay, so that's letting us know that he's estimated the mean. Is the estimate of the mean correct? Right, okay, now, so the way that we estimate a mean, or the reason why, because in functional skills maths, we see many things that are estimating. Estimating is often linked to rounding, but it's also linked to, in this circumstance, is linked to the mean from a frequency table. Because the fact is that although we've got this table of information, we do not know how many cars he sold at all. All we know is these rough estimates. Well, not rough estimates, just we know that on 2 days he sold between 1 and 5. On 12 days he sold between 6 and 10. So what we need to do is we need to estimate how many he sold for each of these groups. Now, the way that we do this is we simply add these 2 numbers together and divide it by 2. And that'll give us what we call the midpoint. So I'm going to do 1 add 5, okay, and that equals 6. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So my estimate for this one is going to be 3, okay? So that's my first estimate. Now, I'm saying that he sold on 2 days, or 2 weeks even, in 2 weeks he sold 3 cars. So that means the total for that one is going to be 6. If he sold 3 cars 2 times, that's going to be 6. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I've got a fan heater on and it is getting very warm. So I'm just going to turn that off and then I will continue and you'll have my undivided attention. Okay, right. The next thing I've got going on here is we've got 6 to 10 cars. So I'm going to do the same thing again. 6 add 10 equals 16. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. So I'm going to estimate that on these weeks he sold 8 cars. Now, if he sold 8 cars for 12 weeks, that means I've got to do 8 times 12. Now, I do know this, but I'm going to use my calculator just because we have our calculator, so it's good to be safe. So 8 times 12 is 96. And that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And then what we have here, our next bit is we're going to work out the next bit here. So we've got 11 to 15. So again, I'm going to do 11 add 15 equals 26. 26 divided by 2 equals 13. Okay, so that means my estimate for this one is 13. So if I times this by 9, because we had that 9 times, I'm going to do 13 times 9 is 117. Okay, so we're saying that this is our estimate of how many cars he sold in total. Last one, I'm going to do 16 add 20 equals 36. 36 divided by 2 equals 18. Okay, so if I've got 36 divided by 2 is 18, I'm saying that on these 3 weeks he sold 18 cars. So I'm going to times these two together, and 18 times 3 equals 54. Okay, right, so this now is our estimate of how many cars he sold. He sold 6 cars here in this group, 96 cars here, 117 cars here, and 54 cars here. Now, if you remember the mean is everything added together divided by the number of things. Okay, so I now need to add all of these values together to find out how many cars were sold in total. And then I know from the question that these add up to 26 weeks. So I'm going to put the 26 at the bottom, but I'm going to add these together first. So I'm going to use my calculator. So we've got 6 add 96 add 117 add 54, and that equals 273. So if I add all of these together, this is what I've got. So the mean is going to be 273 divided by 26. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to do that on my calculator. Remember, this line here means divide. So that's how I've done that. They're the same thing. This is really not liking that line. This line, nope, it won't let me do that there. That line there is divide. So I'm going to do 273 divided by 26. And that equals 21. Oh, no, it doesn't equal 21.5. That equals 10.5. Okay, now, he sold an average of 10 cars per week. His actual mean is 10.5, but to be fair, you can't sell half a car. He could have rounded it up to 11, but he's rounded it down to 10. To be honest with you, I think his estimate of the mean is fine in this circumstance, because he's not overestimating, he's just saying what he's done. Okay, great. So let's have a look. So I can say that, yes, it's okay. Right, okay, question 7. So here we go, question 7. Let's have a look. Sorry, just saying hello to someone that said hello. So let's have a look at this question here. So we've got here, the front elevation and the side elevation of a cube are drawn on the grid below. Okay, so here we've got, find the volume of a cube. Right, so first of all, before I even deal with this picture, I'm going to just remind myself that volume of a cube equals length times width times height. Okay? So if I think about a cube, well, cuboid even, a cuboid looks like this. Okay, so here what we've got is we've got the side. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that there. So that side is this side here. Okay, so if I'm going to put these dimensions onto this, I can see that this is 3 centimeters and this is 4 centimeters. So I've got a height of 3 centimeters and a depth or a width of 4 centimeters here. And now let me pick a different color to do the front. So let's go for pink. If I look here, I've got the front of the cuboid here. So that's the front of my cuboid here. And I can see that the dimensions of this are going to be 3, which we know from here, but I'll just add it on. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 centimeters at the front. Okay, great. So now what we can do is we can use our volume formula. So our volume formula is length times width times height. So that is going to be 6 times 4 times 3. I'm going to use my calculator. 6 times 4 times 3. And that equals 72 centimeters cubed. And remember, it's a cubed because it's a volume. They've given that to us here anyway. So that's 72 cm cubed. Right, let's have a look at part B. Draw the plan of the cuboid on the grid below. Right, so the plan refers to this top face here. Okay, so it's actually quite useful that I've got this diagram because it allows me to see what's going on. So I can see that the top side here is going to be 4 centimeters. This will be 4 centimeters. And this bit will be 6 centimeters. So I'm going to have to draw 4 centimeters down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 6 centimeters along here. Okay. And there we go. So that is the plan of this cuboid. So there we go. So we've got 2 marks for this and 2 marks for this. Okay, right. Let's have a look at the next one. So question 8. Mina runs a football club. She needs to order size 3, size 4 and size 5 footballs in the ratio 6:2:1. Mina needs to order a total of 180 footballs. Complete the order. Okay, fine. So if it's a ratio, 6:2:1, okay, I'll just put a 3 here, a 4 here, and a 5 here to indicate the sizes. This might get a bit confusing because these are numbers. But if the ratio is 6:2:1, so it means we've got 6 parts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 2 parts here. And we've got 1 part here. What we can see is in total, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts to the ratio. And of those parts, we can see 6 out of 9 are size 3. 2 out of 9 are size 2, are size 4 even. And 1 out of 9 is size 5. So effectively, what we're looking for is we're looking for 6/9 of 180. And then 2/9 of 180. And then 1/9 of 180. Now, the way you find a ninth of something is we divide it by 9. Okay, that's what a ninth means. It means one thing divided into 9. So 1/9 of 180 is going to be 180 divided by 9, and that'll equal 20. So I can see that each of these parts will be 20. Okay, I can fill that in like this. Okay, so if each of the parts are 20, we can see that we've got 6 bits here. In other words, the 6/9. So the 6/9 is going to be 6 lots of 20. 6 lots of 20 is going to be, well, it's going to be 120. 2 lots of 20 is going to be 40. And 1 lot of 20 is going to be 20. So we can see that we're going to have 120 of size 3, 40 of size 4, and 20 of size 5. Okay, so let's go down and we can fill that in here. So we've got 120, 40, and 20. And I can just double check those numbers on my calculator to see if they definitely add up to 180. So let's try that. We've got 120, add 40, add 20. Yep, and that definitely equals 180. Perfect. Okay, so that's that question done. Right, now we have part 2, and it says Mina also needs to buy medical equipment. She needs 23 packets of plasters. One packet costs £4.49. A box of 5 packets costs £20.25. Okay, can Mina buy 23 packets of plasters for less than £100? Show why you think this. Okay. So one packet costs £4.49. A packet of 5 costs £20.25p. Right, so if I look at this, I suspect that it's cheaper to buy the packets in packets of 5, just because I'm just going to check on my calculator here. I'm going to do £4.49 times 5 just to see what that gives me. Okay, so £4.49 times 5, and that equals £22.45. Okay, right, so I know that it's definitely cheaper to use this deal. So I'm going to get up to 20 in 5. So if I know that 5 packs is going to cost me £20.25, I know that, well, I know 10 packs, well, not 10 packs, yeah, but yeah, 10 packs is going to cost me twice that because I've doubled that. Okay, so that will be no, it won't be £20. So that will be £40.50. And then 20 packs is twice that again. So that's going to cost me I'll times that by 2. Let's times by 2 again. There's other ways of doing this. Sometimes you just spot a route that works for you. So I'm going to times that by 2 again. So £40.50 times 2. Let me do that on my calculator. So that equals £81. Okay, not bad. So there's still quite a bit of money to play with. So we've got up to 20 packs, but she wants 23 packs of plasters. So what I need to do is I need to work out how much these last ones are going to cost. So we've got 23 packs here, 23 packs of plasters. So let's have a look. I want to do, so I'm going to do, I want 3 at this £4.49 times 3. Again, I'm going to do that on my calculator. Oh, £4.49 times 3. So that equals £13.47. And I think she's going to be able to do it. So 81 plus 13.47. Okay, I don't need the calculator for that. This is equal to £94.47. So there we go, she does it quite comfortably. I think she could possibly even buy 24 packs if she really wanted. But there we go. She only wants 23, so she might as well save her money. £94.47. I don't think that was the answer. I think the answer was, does she do it for less than 100? Can she do it for less than 100? Show why you think that. And so actually the answer should be, you actually do get marks for writing the answer as it's meant to be. Yes. £94.47 is the cost. Okay, right. Let's have a look at the next question. Sorry. So here we go. Question 9. So question 9 says ABC is a triangle, ACD is a straight line. Work out the size of angle X. Right, okay, so we've got two things we need to know here to be able to do this question. And the first is that angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. And the next bit is going to be that angles on a straight line equal 180 degrees as well. Okay, so here we are with these. So what we need to do is we need to use these facts to work out what X is. So first of all, I'm going to work out what this gap is here. Okay, because I can do that because I know that I've got these two bits already. So if 63 plus 58 plus this mystery angle here equals 180, what I can do is I can work out 180, take away 58 plus 63. Okay, I'm just going to do that on my calculator. 180, take away 58. Oh, I forgot to put in my brackets. Take away 58 plus 63. And that equals 59. Okay, so I know that this mystery angle here is 59 degrees. Now, if I know that the angles on a straight line equal 180 degrees, what that means is that if this angle here is 59 degrees, this angle is going to be what couples with that to make 180. So angle X is going to be 180, take away 59, and that will equal, it's 61, but I'm going to check it on my calculator just for safety. It's not 61 at all. Right, it's 121. Sometimes your mind just goes. So 121. So there we go. So that's 121 degrees. Good job I checked it on my calculator. But also, if I hadn't checked it on my calculator, edexcel have been very nice and they've given me a question here to help me check my answer. So this bit says, use estimation to check your answer. So what I can do is, I guess what they wanted to do with that was, these are all roughly 60. Okay, so I'd say 60, add 60, add 60, equals 180. Okay, and that's fine. And then, now that I know that, so 60, add 60, add 60, equals 180. And also, I could say 120, add 60, equals 180 as well. So that's two nice ways of checking the answer. Right, let's have a look at question 10. So here we go. Question 10 says, there are roadworks on a motorway. The average speed limit is 50 miles per hour. A car travels a distance in 18 miles and in 24 minutes. In 18 miles, a car travels a distance of 18 miles in 24 minutes. Is the average speed of the car less than 50 miles per hour? Right. So let's have a look. So 50 miles per hour means 50 miles equals 1 hour. Okay, right, so we've got here miles in minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this miles in minutes. So I'm going to say 50 miles equals 60 minutes. Okay. So this is what 50 miles per hour is. Okay. So now let's try and get this side to 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 50. Okay. This is called direct proportion, by the way, if you need to know this technique. It's where we find out where we've got two things which multiply and divide at the same rate. Okay. So if 50 miles is 60 minutes, we can divide both these by 60 to get 1 mile. So 1 mile is going to be 60 divided by 50, which will be, I'm going to do that on my calculator, 60 divided by 50, and that's going to be 1.2 minutes. Okay. So, if you're going at 50 miles per hour, in 1 mile, for every 1 mile, it should take you 1.2 minutes. Now, they want 18 miles, so let's check that out. Okay, so 18 miles is 18 lots of 1 mile. So I'm going to times that by 18. I'll times this by 18 as well. Okay, 1.2 times by 18 is going to equal 21.6 minutes. Right, so if you were going 50 miles per hour, you would expect to do 18 miles in 21.6 minutes. They did 18 miles in 24 minutes. So these guys are slower. Okay, so is the average speed of the car less than 50 miles per hour? So if they're going slower than 50 miles per hour, then it is less than 50 miles per hour. So yes, that is the answer. The answer is yes. Okay, great. Right. Let's have a look at the next question. So here we go, question 11. So question 11 says, Mario uses wire to make earrings. Mario uses wire to make a circle with diameter of 25 millimeters. He then adds a star shape made from the wire. All the sides of the star shape have length 9 millimeters. Okay. Mario has 3 rolls of wire. There are 500 millimeters of wire on each roll. Mario is going to make 8 of these earrings. Will Mario have enough wire to make 8 of these earrings? Okay, right. Now that is a very good question. So we need to work out how much wire it takes. So first of all, there's an easy bit to this and a slightly more difficult bit to this. So the easy bit is to find out the amount of wire needed for the star. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 sides, all at 9 millimeters. Okay, so I can do 12 times 9. So that means that the star takes 108 millimeters of wire. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to work out the circle. Now, this isn't complicated, it just requires us to remember the formula for the circumference of the circle. So, a circumference of a circle equals 3.14, which is pi, times the diameter. I say 3.14 because this is functional skills, and in functional skills maths, they always want us to just use 3.14 for pi, okay? So there's no point really talking about it as being pi, but it is useful to remember that that's what it is. So let's have a look. So if we've got here 3.14 times the diameter, so that's 3.14 times 25, and that equals 3.14 times 25, 78.5 millimeters. Okay. Right, so that is that. So we've got the circle and we've got the star. So we know that the whole thing will make 108 plus 78.5. So if I do 108 plus 78.5, we've got 186.5. So this is how much wire is required for one earring. Now, we've got the other bits of the question here. So I can see that he wants to make 8 of these earrings. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to times this by 8. So 186.5 times by 8. And again, we've got our calculator, very handy. So times 8. So that's going to be 1492 millimeters for 8. Oh yeah, he's going to do it. Right, because I can see he's got 3 rolls of wire and there's 500 mils on each roll. So if I do, so I've got 1 roll equals 500 millimeters. So 3 rolls is 3 lots of that. So if I times this by 3, okay, and that's going to give me 1,500 millimeters, which is more than this. So yeah, he's got just the right amount. As long as he doesn't go wrong. He doesn't have much leeway, but he should be fine. Okay, right, let's have a look at another. Sorry. Oh, we might actually... here we go. Question 12. Right, so in this question it says, Daniel has a blog about how garages buy and sell cars. The scatter diagram gives information about the amount garages pay for one type of car depending on its age. Okay, right, so here we go. We can see that there's as one of the values goes up, the other value goes down. Okay, so we can see that we've got the amount paid by the garage on the y-axis, and we've got the age of the cars on the x-axis, and we can kind of see, as we'd expect, that when the car is younger, the amount paid is more, and when the car is older, the amount paid is less. Sorry about that. So what we can see, let's have a look. Well, let's have a look at the question, actually. I think that's what we need to really find out. So it says here, Daniel is going to use the scatter diagram to estimate the monthly payments for a car the garage is going to sell. Daniel knows garages sell cars for 34% more than they paid. Makes sense? The car is 5 years old and there are 24 monthly payments. Work out the cost of one monthly payment. Right, so again, I can see this word estimate here. So that means we don't have the exact information about this car. And actually we can see that as well, because there's no cars on this list that are 5 years old. I can draw a line up there, actually. We're going to need that later. So what I need to do is I need to put on a line of best fit. So a line of best fit is just a straight line that kind of goes through as many of the points as possible. That's, well, not as many of the points as possible, but has like an equal amount of points on both sides. Now, funnily enough, your line of best fit should not go longer than your data, because we don't actually have any information on the cars outside of this data range. But in this diagram, there's not actually much chance of doing that either. So what we can see is we've got our line of best fit. And now what we can do is we use this line that I've drawn. Okay, I'll go over it in a finer pen, actually, because that's always useful to go up, to read across here. And then what I've got to do is from this line, I've got to read across to there. And what I can see is that we've got, well, I need to work out how much each of these small squares is. So I can see, oh, what do we have? It's a funny scale, actually. So we've got 4 squares. So we've got £2,000 here is the increase from 8,000 to 10,000. And that equals 4 squares. Okay. So if that's the case, if £2,000 is 4 squares, I know that £1,000 would be 2 squares. And so £500 is 1 square. Okay, so I can see that this here, this reading, the 5-year-old car, okay, is going to, the garage is going to pay £8,500 for it. Okay, so there we go. I've got that bit of information there. The garage pays £8,500 for the car. So let's then see what we can do with that. Right, he knows that the garage sells it for 34% more. Okay, right, so remember, if we've got 100% plus 34%, that means they're selling it for 134% of the cost. If you want to increase something, if you want to ever find 134%, or if you want to find any percentage, all we do is we do the percentage divide 100, and that's going to be 1.34. And that gives us a percentage multiplier. So now anything that we times by 1.34 is going to be increased by 34%. So the value I want to increase by 34% is my 8,500. So if I want to do that, I'm going to do 8,500 times 1.34. And that should increase, well, that will increase that by 34%. So 8,500 times by 1.34. So that equals, so the garage is going to sell it for £11,390. Okay, but that's the total. And they're going to pay it in 24 installments. So they've got 24 months here. Equals the 1,390. So I'm going to have to divide this by 24 to find out how much they pay each month. So I divide that by 24. 24 divided by 24 gets you 1. Divide that by 24. So I'm writing in the bit where you're not allowed to write. Okay, right. So we've got 11390 divided by 24. And that equals 474.583 recurring. So, the cost of one, well, I'm going to say that the garage is going to be nice and round that down to the nearest penny. Okay, so I'm going to say that each monthly payment is going to be £474.58. Okay, let's just have a look how they wanted us to answer that in their answer bit. So here we go. Yep, there we go. So we can put £474.58. Okay, right. Well, that is the end of that paper. So thank you for watching if you watched, and I will be back next Thursday next Thursday, a week today, at 11:30 if you're free in the daytime, 11:30 till 12:30, and then 5:30 to 5:30, then 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock as well. So if you can join me and you want to join me, that's great. If you're happy, if you watch this otherwise, thank you for watching. And yeah, just get in touch. Write down any content that you might want to do with functional skills maths. I'm going to power through the edexcel papers to start off with. So next week, I'm going to look at past paper 3. I'm going to do past paper 3, and I will post the link anyway so that it's timetabled, so that you can have a look at the past paper in advance if you want. And then hopefully I will